Hello, welcome to 10 at 10. My name is Michael Ramage. I'm the director of the Cyber Education Research Center here at Murray State University, and welcome back to 10 at 10. 10 at 10 is brought to you through a partnership between Murray State University, Grow West, the Technology Council of West Kentucky, KY Innovation, and our local partner, Sprocket Innovation in Paducah, and the Kentucky Innovation Station in Madisonville. Welcome back, episode 202 of 10 at 10. And while we didn't get to do it 2 episodes ago, since it is an even number, we're getting back into the news of the last few weeks. We're going to cover a lot since it has been a couple weeks since we've been able to do this, and by missing episode 200 doing our special episode. But I want to get into a few things that have caught my eye. There's actually been a lot going on, a lot of data breaches announced, a lot of issues going on, but there's a few things over the last several weeks that I wanted to touch on. First was I came across this article. This is actually out of a new NBC affiliate in Florida, but it was talking about the need for a quicker required legally required notification law for data breaches. Right now in Florida, for example, there's a data breach notification, but it's only if 500 people, if it impacts more than 500 people at a company, it has to notify the state. And then it's different beyond that on when the customers have to be notified. In California, there's a requirement for the company to report the breach, but there's not a requirement for companies to notify their customers. And over this past 6 months, maybe even year, we have seen instances where data breaches have occurred, but the customer notification has taken weeks, months to occur. And is that right? Well, the reality is not always is a company going to know. It's going to take some time for a company to know how many customers were impacted. I think in Florida, it's 30 days. They get 30 days to determine how many customers and who was impacted. But it takes a while. However, it would be better if we would know ahead of time so that we could get started with taking the protections that we need to take as an individual to protect our identity from whatever might come from that data breach. So first of all, that's an important piece. And I think that we're going to see more discussion on that in the coming years on what that data breach notification should be. So I thought that was an interesting article, first of all, because that impacts every one of us, both as consumers, but for those that have organizations or are security professionals for organizations, then that may impact you as well. Second, and I bring this one up because we're talking about this just last week on our on 10 at 10, talking about things to be aware of from shopping, because next week, a week from today, is Black Friday and everybody goes crazy. So we've got to make sure that we're ready for that. In this case, there were fake discount sites that were set up to exploit Black Friday shopping and to hijack shopper information. In this example, they were using top-level phishing or domains to redirect people to fake sites. They were impersonating. Let me make sure these are impersonations of brands. It doesn't require me, for me to impersonate your brand doesn't require me to break into your website. It doesn't require me to steal customer information. It requires me to impersonate you. So anybody can impersonate you. That's why this is such an important thing for us to keep in mind. But brands like IKEA and LL Bean and North Face and Wayfair were all impersonated. I just say again, with Black Friday right around the corner, we have to be careful and have to be diligent in making sure that we're not clicking anything that says discount coupon. We want to be careful. We want to make sure that we're doing the things that we need to do to keep ourselves and our families and our organizations safe. All right. This is a an opinion piece. It comes from Dark Reading. Um, Washington's cybersecurity storm of complacency. There's been several instances of espionage and cyber breaches happening at the top levels. It's nation states spying on our country through large multinational organizations and companies, through providers, Verizon, AT&T, Lumen. It's some very big names that our adversaries are using to spy on us. This article is arguing that one of the reasons is because we're getting complacent in our cybersecurity posture. Is that true? Maybe. But the reason I highlight this article this week is not because of what is happening at the national level. I want to bring it down to the local level, to your organizational level. And how often are attacks happening because we're getting complacent? Whether, we get our alerts about two-factor authentication. Did you log in? Did you really just log in to Amazon from this other website or this other device? We get it so often that we just want to click yes, but we've got to be careful about it. We've got to make sure that we're staying diligent. As I just said in a previous article, complacency is very dangerous. Every time we get an email, we have to look to make sure that it's not a scam or it's not a phishing email. Every single time. One failure can really impact our organization. So we have to be very careful. Same way at the national level, it matters to our organization, and it matters at a local level. So anyway, I wanted to make sure I highlight that because that is something that I worry about, because every week I'm on here and I'm telling you all these things are dangerous. We've got to be careful. The bad guys after us, they're after us. You can either tune me out or look at me and like, well, the sky's falling again. Well, the reality is, okay, the sky's not falling. The bad guy is trying. There's hundreds and thousands of bad guys trying to break into our organization every day. That is true. But I'm not saying that we have to live in fear, but I'm also not saying that we can get complacent. Because we've been successful this week, this month, this year, doesn't mean that we can let our guard down. And that balance really worries me. It's actually a concern that I have, because getting complacent is what the bad guy's hoping for. That's what our adversary's hoping for. I came across this article. I thought it was really interesting because it's something that we talk a lot about on here. To pay or not to pay? That's the question. That's the ongoing question right now in cybersecurity world is, do we pay? I'm not advocating that you pay. I'm not advocating that you don't pay. I will tell you that the federal government, the FBI, the Secret Service, CISA, federal agencies are going to tell you not to pay. Don't pay, don't pay. If you pay, you are reinforcing bad behavior. That's a fact. But it's also much more complicated than that. And this article, and I'm going to let you, I'll share the link and you can go take a look at it. But this article is talking about reasons to pay and reasons not to pay. And frankly, the reasons not to pay are starting to mount. But if you'll notice, this article is talking about healthcare, and Change Healthcare had a ransomware attack, and they were demanded to pay a $22 million ransom. Now, as you're thinking through what to do, there's HIPAA violations. There's a number of different issues to consider in healthcare, but it also applies to whether you're in some other regulated field or in no field, and it's just your small business. There's a lot of reasons to consider to pay and not to pay, and that's really something that ultimately comes down to trying to collect all the information you can, and this kind of lays out that the reason that you would make those decisions. And then I want to end. I'm running out of time, but I want to end by just noting that CISA, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, who is the cybersecurity arm for the federal government, they're part of Homeland Security, actually put out a thing after the election was over, noting there was no evidence of a successful hack during the U.S. elections. Cyber attack, cyber hack. There was no evidence of anything happening. Doesn't mean there weren't people that tried to submit fake ballots or were even successful at that. But from a cyber standpoint, there was nothing, no evidence of any foul play from nation states or otherwise. So that's let me rephrase that, of successful attacks. Certainly attacks happen, but nobody was successful during the U.S. election. So anyway, with that, I want to say thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you for joining. I hope you found this interesting. Take a look at these articles, and I'll see you next week back here on 10 and 10. Thank you. Bye.